Hey everybody, I am Rachel Tiede here, joined by the iconic Chief Meteorologist Bob Kovachick, celebrating a lifelong of weather, meteorology, television. You've done a lot.
I've done a lot over many years, and it boggles the mind to think how long it's been. It just seems possible. It doesn't seem possible that I've been doing it that long.
Yeah.
40 plus in the Albany market, and a couple of forecasts that didn't work out, but it's, I mean, there's a lot of things I could say. It's just been, it boggles my mind as how long it's been.
Yeah, 45 years total, 42 here in the Albany market.
Right.
Talk about just, I mean, there's so much we could dive into, but let me just ask you first, you know, what have you learned all of these years? If you had advice for future meteorologists coming behind you, what would you say?
Well, first of all, be yourself on the air. Don't try to be something you're not. Put on different airs, different looks, different comments. Just be yourself. Don't change your delivery. Don't change what you say and do. Same thing on the air versus off the air. Same personality, and I think that's one of the biggest things. Some people tend to change how they deliver, and then you meet them in person, and they're not the same way on the air versus off the air. So I would say that's the main thing. And the big thing is, and you know, you're studying meteorology. You'll be getting a degree next August. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Nice job.
Thank you.
An official meteorologist next summer, and that'll be great too for you and for us. And we're so happy to have you here because you are dynamite.
Oh, thank you. Well,
dynamite.
I've learned so much from you and Paul and everybody else, obviously. And you're totally right when you say be yourself on air. And it's with you, it's true. I mean, what you see is what you get with Bob, whether you're on air or at the grocery store.
Pretty much, you know, I run to people in the grocery store picking up bananas or apples, and they'll say something, and you know, I just respond like a one-on-one, like a human being, like I'm a normal person, which I kind of am a normal person more or less. But you don't want to try to be something you're not.
Yes.
In any way in life. So that seems to be something to take away from being on TV and doing the weather. And you know, you've learned a lot in your first year or so here. It's an interesting business. It's fascinating. I tell people that I point to nothing for a living, and it's true. We point to nothing. There's nothing behind us on the wall. It's just a blank wall. We're looking at TV screens off to the side, and I say to people, "What did I do for 40 years? I pointed to nothing for a living." And huh?
So much more to it than that, but you're right, the technology has changed so much since you first started. I mean, what was that like I mean, the world completely changed.
We used to get our hands dirty because we used to use watercolors on a national map, like a Rand McNally national map that was created in the studio. And you used to draw the watercolors on there of the weather systems in the area of rain, high pressure. And then after every show, you get the spray bottle and you wipe it off and you get your hands dirty. And now, because with technology we are today, it's like, wow, where things have evolved to. It's mind-boggling. You wouldn't know that because you've only dealt with computer technology, but computer technology has really, really, really ramped up our ability to deliver the weather.
What do you think, you know, with the context and the knowledge that you have, where would you like to see weather technology go in the next 5-10 years, or where do you think it'll go?
People have asked, the forecast ever going to be perfect? And I say, you know, that's a really tough guess, but I would say probably not. I mean, there's so many variables as you're learning in weather and prediction, how weather evolves and what happens, that are we going to be able to predict all the variables that will show up tomorrow or the next day that may make the forecast a bust and doesn't look so? I don't know if the accuracy is going to be better. I think we do a lot better nowadays with the short-term forecast for a day or two, or severe weather, which is a matter of a short amount of time. Long range, you know, are we going to be able to say 5, 6, 7 days away what the weekend's going to be? There's still so many variables out there that things change. That it's not very likely it's going to get better with the long range.
Let's talk a little bit about your career, and you know, you spent 42 years here in Albany, 3 years not in Albany.
Right.
What made you come back?
I love the Northeast. I grew up in the Northeast. I grew up in New York State and spent college in Vermont. So I just love the Northeast. I mean, the variability in the weather here, as you've learned, it's never terribly severe. You know, it's not like some parts of the country which have a deal with different kind of weather elements that can take your house away. You know, here the weather is generally quote unquote mellow for the most part. We get our severe weather, yes, we get our ice storms, we get our snow, we get a real cold, but I just love the Northeast climate. I love the topography, the area, the 4 seasons, and we sure do have 4 seasons, as you well know. You learned last year when you were trying to get to work in snow, and you were saying, "Oh, help me out, please." But
my car at the time was not a reliable vehicle, shall we say. Struggled, so it was an experience.
Yeah, I mean, and you've seen that, you know. I mean, the changeability, the variability here. Now we're going into fall, which is a beautiful time of the year. Granted, winter does stink sometimes, but it is what it is. It's just, it's living here as opposed to Florida or somewhere else where there's not a lot of year-to-year or month-to-month variability. It's variable, and if you're not on your toes, Mother Nature's going to come along and smack you in, and you say, "Oh, how did that happen? How did we get that? Where did that come from?" So that's part of the, I guess you could say, the fun of the business of something came along and whacked us, and yeah, I didn't see that yesterday.
And here we are, yeah, exactly. What is your favorite type of weather to cover?
I'm kind of a snow lover, really, so I enjoy trying to forecast snowstorms. How much snow is going to fall in X, Y, Z, the different places. That's always, and again, as you're learning, it's always a difficult thing to forecast amount of snow in different places, topography and river and valley and blah, blah, mountains. I think winter forecasting is the most challenging, you know, and there's nothing like getting it right, and darn, there's nothing like getting it wrong. You say, "Ah!" So it's a personal high that you got the forecast right, because sometimes it's just not that easy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
What is the, if there was a weather event that stands out in your mind as your favorite one throughout your years, what would that be?
Superstorm of 1993, up and down the East Coast from Florida to New England. Wind, rain, snow, coastal damage. It was just such a widespread storm, coastal storm that grew huge and traveled slowly up the coast and affected, I don't know how many, but a lot of people were affected in one way by the storm. So it's called a superstorm for obvious reasons of what it did. So 93, I mean, there's been a few out there. The blizzard of, say, 1978, you wouldn't know about 1978, but
Not wrong.
not wrong about that. So there's a handful of storms out there that really stand out in your mind and say, wow. But it's such a personal high. It's good personal satisfaction when you get the forecast right, or as close to right as you can, and you say, you know, I kind of got it right, and I did my job to the best of my ability. And we do our job to the best of our ability every day, but you know, there's a lot of variabilities there, that atmosphere, that say, holy cow, where did that come from? How did that happen?
Right. Retirement's coming up here
Yep.
quickly.
Yeah.
What is your retirement plan? Do you have a plan? You're gonna sit on the beach somewhere, or have any activities you want to do? Travel, maybe?
I'm going to learn to play golf better than I do, because I stink at that. Do some volunteer work, with some organizations around the area. So that's pretty much the top of the list right now. And that'll evolve, obviously, as time goes along, how I handle with all the extra time on my hands.
Yeah, right, exactly. You have to come back and do some special reports for us, maybe teach us a couple of things.
About retirement?
Retirement, weather, what life skills?
I think once in a while, I don't know, it's not written in stone yet, but once in a while when there's a need here or staffing issue, that I may pop up and be here and do the weather when there's a issue that they don't have anybody available to work, that I'll show my face here again and point to nothing.
Well, we would love those days. We look forward to it. What is looking back at your time here at this station, is there maybe something that happened off air, an event or a memory? Is there a memory you have of this station and the people here off air that really sticks out to you, where you said, you know, I'm really glad that I spent 42 years here?
There's been so many people who come through the doors here in the past and up to the present time. Well, sometimes the clicker doesn't work to advance the graphics, and you're standing there saying, all right, what do I do now? Weird things that happen, or something in the background here, somebody drops something on the floor when you're on the air, and you want to say, what the heck is that? What are you doing? So
It's live TV.
it's live TV. You have to sneeze, you sneeze. Yep. It's live TV. There's nothing you can do about it. You know, you got to scratch your nose, you scratch your nose. I mean, it's the nature of the beast that's going to happen. For sure.
And it just shows, you know, like you were saying earlier, be who you are off air as you are on air. And if you have to sneeze or do what you got to do, it's just, that's who you are, right?
It's live. It's live here, folks. We're live, and you got to do what you got to do, and then hopefully things go according to plan, allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yes.
We always hope. Doesn't always happen that way.
That's right. I want to wish you the best of luck, though, going
Thank
forward.
you.
You know, you're going to get your degree next summer.
Yep.
And so you'll be a quote-unquote full-fledged meteorologist.
Yep.
And All the best to you. The best to
Thank
you
you.
for going forward, and the world of meteorology, which I think you've really grown into. You really enjoy it. It shows on the air that you enjoy what you're doing and what you say. So I think you've really grown into being a meteorologist.
Thank you. Well, I've learned, like I said, so much from you, and the rest of the First Warning Weather team has been incredible. And it's really fun to watch you guys. You know, I first started here, I just sort of was a fly in the wall a couple of days, and I sat in the Weather Center and I watched how it all worked. And it was really, I mean, it's cool to watch somebody who's been doing it for 45 years.
Yeah.
And, you know, Reed, you know, all the way down to Reed, who's my age and has
Right.
been doing it as, you know, weather for as long as I've been out of school as well,
Yeah.
since 2017. And so it's fun to see the growth. You
Yeah.
can see, you know, from Reed to Paul to you can see how people grow and develop in their skills.
From the kids to the old guy.
Well, I love working with you. You are such a joy to be
I
around.
love working with you too.
And I'm so glad that you sat down with me today.
I was happy to do it, and I'm going to miss a lot. Don't want to get emotional. So I start talking about it, so I'm going to miss a lot of things, a lot of people, the whole game. So I'll,
Oh, you're gonna make me cry.
it's just I'm gonna miss something I wanted to do since I was a kid, and lucky enough to do it for my whole life.
Yeah. The best part about retirement is you can still forecast.
There you go, right? And nobody will hear you, and if you mess up, well, I know myself I messed up, but nobody heard what I said, so. Yeah.
Right. Well, you'll come back and visit us.
Yeah,
I'm not worried about
I
it
definitely
at all.
will. I definitely will. Good luck. Continue. Good luck to you.
Same to you. Thank you for joining us. Bob retires in a couple of weeks, so we still have him for a little bit longer. Thanks for watching.
Thanks, Rachel. Bye-bye.